Usually at the beginning of the month, as soon as I get my salary, I settle a few basic expenses such as the rent, transportation card charges, paying off my credit card bills, settling all the utility expenses such as cable bills, electricity, etc. Once I'm done with all these expenses, less than 50% of my salary is only left with me. My expenses are not done. I have to meet my other monthly expenses such as providing for my family, school fees, dine-outs, parties, gadgets, etc. And somehow I end up exhausting my salary well before the end of the month. This cycle repeats itself every month, leaving me broke at the end of each month. It makes me feel that my salary is not enough, and in order to have more money, I used to think that I have to switch jobs, get a better paying career, work as a freelance, work overtime, etc. Now I happen to read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon, written by George S. Clason. After reading the book, I realized that the way I'm handling money is exactly how I'm not supposed to be doing it. Now this book suggests 7 cures for a lean purse. Imagine, as soon as you get your salary, you put aside a part of it, say 1/10, even before you spend it on rent, groceries, etc. Now imagine you're doing that for several years. You will have more than $100,000 in your account. This means that you have more than 4 months' salary saved up. Now this is rule number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Keep aside 1/10 of your salary and live only on the remaining 9/10. The immediate question that came to my mind was, how could I live on only 9/10 of my salary when I don't even have enough if I'm using 100% of my salary? I was always short of money. Now, according to the book, I had to have a closer look at my expenses so that I have a better idea of what is happening with my money. So, I classified my expenses to necessary expenses, being the ones that are indispensable for survival, such as rent, food, loan repayment, etc. The second classification was desires. These are the ones that, if not gratified, can wait. These include restaurants, entertainment, gadgets, etc. Now, one thing that I realized making the split was that every time I had a salary hike or got some extra cash in hand, my desires would increase. I would want to have more things. Now, this would range from getting a new laptop to getting a new car. Now, this is rule number 2. Control the expenditures. Budget all the expenses that can be covered with 9/10 of your salary and strike out all the remaining desires. Those are the ones which can actually wait. Now, doing this, I realized I could actually live well below 9/10 of my salary and save a little more than 1/10 every month. I have been doing this for several years now, controlling my expenses and putting aside a part of every penny I get. And I've got a pretty fat bank account. Now I can say that I'm rich and I can spend all this money for my desires, kept aside for all these years. That's a big no. If you're doing so, then you're just postponing your desires to a later stage, which is eventually going to make you poor. What you have to do with this money is, well, you have to make it work for you. This money should get you more money, and that money should get you more money, and so on. Now that is rule number 3. Make thy gold multiply. Now this means investment. Now, how do I do that? Looking at all my possible options, which is including investing in a business, investing in Bitcoin, depositing in a bank, real estate, etc. I was confused as to where should I invest. I had no idea. Finally, it struck me when, in a conversation with a few colleagues back at office, they mentioned about Bitcoins and how you can make money quickly. It sounded very fancy and amazing, and I invested all my money that I saved over the years into Bitcoin. Within a span of just a few months, I lost them all. It was not because the market wasn't good. The market was doing extremely good, but because I had zero knowledge about Bitcoins, just like my colleagues who lost a lot of money in it. Now, before making an investment, you should be sure that your investment is secure and that you will get back everything that you have invested and more. For this, you have to actually consult with people who are experienced in handling money well. I met this guy who advised me that there are many things to look for when making an investment, such as what are the risks involved, what are my returns, and how long will it take for me to get my returns. Now, he helped me make my decisions well. You should invest only where your investment is safe and always take advice from wise men before making an investment. Now, that is rule number 4. Guard thy treasures from loss. Now, there's this one space in your expenses that you can actually convert into something profitable. You might be staying at a rented apartment. Assume you're paying $800 per month as rent. which adds up to $9,500 annually. Imagine you're buying a home of your own, costing around, on an average, $150,000. If we don't have that kind of money stored up, take a loan and buy the house. It actually doesn't make any difference in your monthly expenses. All you have to do is adjust the loan repayment schedule in such a way that you have to pay the rent amount as interest per month to the bank, which means eventually after 10 or 15 years, you have the home as an asset. Rather than staying in an apartment with limited facilities, you can start living in your own home, which has a lot of added benefits, such as having a garden, having your own private spaces. You can design your home the way you like it. In total, you're increasing your standard of living, and at the end, it's all yours to keep, and that too without any additional expenses. Now, this is rule number 5 in the book. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. The future of any person is very uncertain. We cannot predict what's going to happen in the future. No matter how much of a prosperous you are or how much of a profit you are making, it's still very uncertain. Misfortune and bad health can come to people in the most unexpected of times. The book specifically says that we must be prepared for that. Ensure that while you're earning well and prosperous, you may choose your method to save money for your future needs. This can be insurance, keeping aside annual deposits, or something like that, so that it can be helpful to you and your family when you reached that stage when you can no longer earn. Provide in advance for your old age and the protection of thy family. That is rule number 6. Ensure a future income. Now there's this friend of mine who always says that he wants to be rich. He says that he wants to make a lot of money in the future. But the problem with this guy is that his desires are not definite. It's not strong. He would like to make money at some point in life. It seems as though even if he doesn't get that money, it's okay. This actually doesn't work out well. For a man who desires to make $20,000 per year is a tangible desire, which he can push to fulfill. Once he successfully gets $20,000 per year, he can then look to make $40,000 per year, and so on. These are simple, strong, and definite desires to earn more every month. The more skills you have, the more you will earn. If a doctor has completed only MBBS, for example, he will be earning a certain amount. But if he has completed his MD, he will be earning more money. If the same doctor has completed a super specialty degree, then he will be earning a much higher amount. The more wisdom we have in our own craft, the more we earn. Now this is rule number 7. Increase thy ability to earn. Increase your own powers. Study, be wiser, and be more skillful.